In the scenic town of Maplewood, Oregon, nestled between rolling hills and towering pine trees, a high school student named Ethan Walker found himself at the lowest point of his academic life. Ethan was a kind-hearted and creative teenager who loved sketching cars and building model airplanes in his spare time. But when it came to school, he felt like a complete failure. Math felt like an unsolvable puzzle. History was a blur of dates he couldn't remember, and his English essays came back covered in red ink. Ethan's report cards were filled with failing grades, and he was known among his classmates as the guy who didn't try. But deep down, Ethan wasn't lazy. He simply felt overwhelmed by the weight of his struggles and didn't know where to start fixing them. His teachers had grown frustrated, and even his friends had started pulling away. The breaking point came one Friday afternoon when his principal, Mr. Hudson, called Ethan into his office. "Ethan," Mr. Hudson said, his tone serious but kind, "you're a bright kid, but you're not putting in the effort. If you don't turn things around, you might not make it to senior year." Ethan left the office feeling defeated. That evening, at home, his parents sat him down for a heart-to-heart. "Ethan," his mom said, "we know you're capable of so much more, but if you don't take charge of your future, no one else will. You have to decide whether you want to keep struggling or start climbing out of this hole." The next day, while cleaning out the garage with his dad, Ethan stumbled across an old, rusted bicycle frame buried under years of dust and forgotten tools. "What's this?" Ethan asked, brushing off the dirt. "That," his dad said, "is the bike I tried to fix when I was your age. I gave up because I didn't have the patience to take it one piece at a time. It taught me something though. Life is like that bike. If you try to fix everything all at once, you'll get overwhelmed. But if you focus on one piece at a time, you can turn even the most broken things into something amazing." Ethan didn't think much of his dad's words at first, but that night, as he lay awake staring at the ceiling, they began to sink in. Maybe his schoolwork, like that bike, wasn't beyond repair. Maybe he just needed to start small. On Monday morning, Ethan decided to take the first step. During lunch, he nervously approached Ms. Carter, his English teacher. "Ms. Carter," he said, his voice shaky, "I know I've been falling behind and I don't know how to fix it. Can you help me figure out where to start?" Ms. Carter was taken aback. She had never seen Ethan so vulnerable before. "Ethan," she said with a smile, "the fact that you're asking for help shows you're ready to change. Let's take it one step at a time. We'll start with your English essays and build from there." Ms. Carter worked with Ethan to create a plan. He would spend 30 minutes every evening reviewing his assignments and an additional hour studying the subjects he struggled with most. She also paired him with a peer tutor, Olivia Mitchell, who was not only the top student in their class but also patient and encouraging. The first few weeks were grueling. Ethan often felt like giving up, especially when he bombed a history test despite studying for hours. But Olivia reminded him, "You're not going to see results overnight. Progress is like building a house. It takes time, but every brick you lay brings you closer to your goal." Ethan started to notice small victories. His math teacher, Mr. Johnson, commended him for solving a particularly tricky problem on the board. In English, he received his first B on an essay, a huge improvement from the Ds and Fs he was used to. With each success, Ethan's confidence grew. One day, as he rode his bike home from school, he passed a group of classmates who had once teased him. Instead of ignoring him, they waved and called out, "Hey, Ethan, great job in math today." For the first time in a long time, Ethan felt proud of himself. By the end of the school year, Ethan had transformed. His grades had improved dramatically, and he even earned a spot on the school's academic achievement list. At the end of year assembly, Mr. Hudson invited Ethan to speak about his journey. Standing at the podium, Ethan looked out at the sea of faces. "Not long ago," he began, "I thought I couldn't turn things around. But I learned that success doesn't come all at once. It's built piece by piece, with patience, effort, and a willingness to ask for help. And most importantly, it's never too late to start over." Years later, Ethan returned to Maplewood High as a motivational speaker. He brought the same old bike frame with him, now polished and restored, as a symbol of his journey. "This bike," he would tell students, "reminds me that no matter how broken things seem, you can always rebuild, one piece at a time." What we can learn: Ethan's journey teaches us that persistence and effort can help us overcome even the most challenging obstacles. Success isn't achieved overnight, but through steady progress. When we break down overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable steps, we create a path forward and build confidence along the way. The story also reminds us of the importance of seeking help. Asking for guidance doesn't mean you're weak. It shows courage and a willingness to grow. By opening up to his teacher, Ethan found support that made all the difference. Finally, this story encourages us to never give up, even when it feels like failure is inevitable. Setbacks are part of life, but they don't define us. With resilience and determination, we can turn those setbacks into stepping stones for future success. If you've ever faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable, remember, growth happens one step at a time, and it's never too late to start fresh. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more motivational stories. What's a challenge you're working on right now? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.